Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, ladies, gentlemen. What's up, fellas? What's poppin'? Week 15, coming off of a very good Saturday slate in which, even as a Packers fan, I went to bed in the early mid-third quarter. I just had an insane migraine. I've been getting those. I get them like once every 3 or 4 months, and that was brutal. It was like 4 hours of just tough to even watch the screen in the first half. But they secured the win, barely. And while I was sleeping, DJ Moore erupted, which helped us turn about $3,300 into $6,000 yesterday. So a profitable day to wake up to was fantastic. Start the morning off right. Some coffee, some candles lit in here. We got the morning Closing Thoughts podcast done on Patreon. I see a bunch of motherfuckers already up in here right now. I'm sorry if you're not a motherfucker. If you're a fella, there you go as well. Buy the merch, buy the hoodie, all that stuff. We're going to answer your questions. Very interesting slate. Very nuanced slate. Very gross slate, to be honest with you, in terms of your options. These games in general, like if we try and take a scope out of the DFS landscape and just look at these games, these teams facing each other. I mean, you have Kansas City and New Orleans, right? The prime game of the week. All these other games are disgusting. Like Seattle and Washington, you're going to try and sell me on, like, that's the game that I want to be watching, right? Pretty gross games. The Rams and the Jets, Detroit and Tennessee, right? Arizona and Philly, all these games. Houston and Indy, maybe a decent game. But what's up, everybody? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. We are on pace, very close for 35,000 subscribers. It might come down to the day the NBA starting up, might help us out. Going to get a couple extra videos out, the 2-game opening slate on Tuesday. Appreciate you all in advance a ton. Like, subscribe, all of that stuff because, fellas, it's a good day. Let's have a good day. Video is sponsored by Jock Market. We will talk more on the Jock Market. It is open right now. It opened at 8 a.m. for this slate. It'll close at 12 p.m., but you can still live trade after that. But you want to be sure to get shares of your players. That is right. A daily fantasy sports stock exchange meets a stock exchange, daily fantasy sports. So that combination is very unique in this space. You can buy and own stock and players. Yes, that's right. Jock Market, link down below. Check it out. My name, Sal, when you download the app in the Google Play Store on Android or the Apple Store on your Apple iPhone. My name's Sal10, SAL10 will get you 10 free dollars. They are partners, proud sponsors of the Sunday live stream and the Friday show. Love Jock Market a ton. We'll discuss more specific players around 11 a.m. once we're in that final hour of the markets. Things start really heating up that last half hour and 20 minutes. Really, wherever I feel confident on a DraftKings value and things like that is where I try and key in on those guys that are likely underpriced in the market as well. Alrighty. With that being said, somebody's telling me that the thumbnail is saying week 14 right now. Well, that's not going to be good. Is that actually the case? I assume this guy would not be telling me that if that's not the case. And so I don't know why we have the old thumbnail on here. I got that updated. So I must not have saved, but I can change that on the fly right now because that's no good. Yeah, that's the thumbnail from last week, but the Sunday week 15 thumbnail is supposed to be Mr. Alvin Kamara. I'm changing on my mind, so thank you. Thank you for letting me know right now. I'm changing on my end. I don't know if I could actually change it while live, but that is something that we will find out because I just changed it on my end. It appears that we are still live. So hopefully that works. And people don't have to look at the week 14 and not know what the fuck's going on. So we just changed on my end. It says it should take a couple of seconds. What's up, everybody? Gonna answer your questions. All of that stuff basically right now. Features like personalized chat. I cannot change the thumbnail while live. Well, that will be an issue we'll have to change basically right after the stream. So, I see a lot of people up in here right now. I saw somebody ask me if me or Josh from Awesemo's channel, if you're not familiar with Awesemo, they also do daily fantasy sports content company. Josh Engelman does a lot of shows for them. Somebody asked if me or Josh in a 40-yard dash would you bet on? I mean, Josh could be some sort of athletic freak that I have no idea about. I would just bet on myself, and I would not bet on myself if I did not think I could win some sort of event. But for somebody who still runs, with the gyms being closed, running even more now more than ever, and also runs hills and things like that, which help you with speed. Yes, there's an art of getting off at the exact second and moment your form to accelerate speed in 40-yard dashes that I would have to learn. But I would bet on myself just from a staying in shape standpoint of hills and stuff that correlates with that. So I'll take myself on that one there. But I think it would be close. What do we got here? Sal Gang Sundays, let's go. Big gang. Hey, my man is hype right now in the chat. What's up? Is 2 Chiefs and 3 Saints too much in one lineup today? No. So you're full on. I assume you're stacking the Saints and bringing it back with the Chiefs. I have no ownership myself towards Drew Brees, so I personally do not like that. But no, by no means. Okay, good. We got the thumbnail somebody said is updated. By no means do I think full on game stacking is a bad thing. No, every single one of my lineups will have 3 to 5 players. Will surpass the cone drill at the DFS Combine. Sal, put up more reps on the bench too? I think so. I don't really bench. I used to bench in college a little bit. I basically do like 100 pull-ups and like 200 push-ups. I try and do that a day. So like the pull-up side, I mean, that'll help you with your tries a little bit. Shoulders, chest with the push-ups, but it's really just my body weight, which is like 170 pounds. So yeah, my bench is not going to be great. I could probably bench nowhere near 225, 185, maybe 190, 200 for like a max. So, yeah, definitely not somebody there I would not bet my own money on. Zeke or Jeff Wilson today, says Ryan Sheely. Ryan Sheely, thank you for being here, my man. I'll go with Zeke there. Looks like he's going to play. I do think Tony Pollard takes touches, but as long as Raheem Mostert plays as well, I'll go with Zeke's overall touch upside as opposed to Jeff Wilson's touchdown upside. Who else watches every Sunday? Keep up the good work, says Stephen K. My man Stephen K. Thumbs up to you, man. Motherfucking boss. So you can see the quarterbacks on the screen right now. If you have any questions on that, that's basically where my stacking interest is. It's really in 4 guys. I do think that Jalen Hurts is a wild card on this slate because he looks like a very good value, maybe the best value on the slate in a cash game perspective at his price point. But you need that rushing yard upside. I do think you'll see more passing game usage. 30 attempts last week wasn't terrible, but just more success with it in an easier matchup this week against Arizona rather than New Orleans last week. But who do you stack him with, right? Like, it's interesting to say, do you want to just go to Jalen Hurts and hope that he does stuff on the ground again, get you 15 points on the ground, get you 10 in the air, and you got 25 points in a GPP, and you run him naked? I usually like to correlate, but it's not a terrible idea from single entry and 3-max. Best gang in the industry, baby, says Austin. What's up, Austin? How you doing? My mod in here right now. He says, good morning, Brody. How's your migraine? Yeah, man, migraine's all good now. Went to bed yesterday. I had basically this heating pad thing that you like warm up in the microwave for like 15 seconds. I put that on my head that my girlfriend got me. We opened some Christmas presents. I got, it's on the island. Therapeutic gum. I was putting that lightly on my neck and like around, trying to help it out. But yeah, rough. You just got to last them out. You just got to go to bed basically. It's just like screen time and all that stuff randomly spikes up too much one time a year or like one time every couple of months. Morning, Salvatore. Hope you are feeling better, says my mama. I assume that's my mama, Jackie V. I feel 100% good this morning, yes. I feel 100% fine, Mom. It's just migraines. I think it was just from overwork. I did an extra video or stream for the Saturday games yesterday that I don't normally do on less hours of sleep because I had to get up early because we were celebrating the holiday yesterday. Anyone trying to join my DraftKings league? Nah, man. Happy Mother's Day. I thought it was Xmas and a mofo for real. What's up, Sal? What's going on, man? How you doing? Happy Mother's Day. What you talking about? What do you think of Russell Gage today? I think he looks really good. I have a lot of Russell Gage and Ridley, and the surprising thing is I don't really have that much Matt Ryan. I got like 5% Matt Ryan, but Russell Gage and Ridley are 2 of my highest like 5 owned wide receivers. Now there's a lot of guys, like I have them both at 25%. I basically got like 10 guys at 20 to their range. So a lot of guys are in there marginally different, but I like both Gage and Ridley. Gage is fine, good value. If you're trying to get, I probably prefer Emmanuel Sanders and Kiki Kute, but if you're trying to get away from those guys or just the New Orleans guys in general, Gage looks good. Expecting no Julio. Gage's snap counts, well, not even snap counts, just overall usage in the offense the last couple weeks has gotten back to where it has been basically the first couple weeks of the year. I think he was dealing with a little bit of an injury in the middle part of the season. Looks to be over it. Andrew says, yo, Sal, loved watching your business videos. Seeing you kill it as an entrepreneur is awesome and motivational. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm actually going to do a 2020 season recap probably at the beginning of January sometime. The NFL playoffs start. It becomes a little bit lighter. So after week 17, that week when the NFL playoffs start, so there's like not as many games. There's not 17 games I have to prep for. There's, what is it, like 8 that first week, whatever it is. I'll probably do a recap on the 2020 business because we did that video kind of projecting some stuff out right around the pandemic side. We'll kind of review some stuff I learned, some stuff I want to work on, any tips that I have for people. But thank you. I appreciate that. Your question, though, was what do you think of Juju or Lockett in season long? Yeah, tough question there because a really great matchup. Honestly, for both sides, it's a fine matchup. I think I'll go with Juju. I also like the idea. It doesn't matter at all, but I like the idea of having somebody on that like Monday Night Football game, right? Because that's what tomorrow night is, right? Cincinnati and them, and also a good matchup. So I'll go Juju there. I'll go Juju. What it do, baby, says Kevin. What's up? How you doing, Kevin? Leonard or Mike Evans? Leonard, I say. Leonard Fournette? Leonard. I'll go with Leonard Fournette. Yo, it's Sal. What's up? Akil, what's going on, man? Ingram or Cook at the tight end? I'll go Evan Ingram, my man. Even with Colt McCoy starting. Baltimore playing from ahead. I see Edwards getting some work behind Dobbins in the goal line touches. Do you like him as a cheap, different play? No, I don't. No, I don't. To try and bank on Gus Edwards' 8 touches to go for 2 touchdowns and like 50 yards today, for that to continue to happen as insanely efficient as he has been the past couple weeks, there's no shot. There's no shot. There's no cheap running backs on this slate outside of Leonard Fournette. You want to take a shot on Sony Michel with no Damon Harris or James White? Sounds kind of gross to me, honestly. There's nobody on this slate. So it's tough. This slate is tough, and that's why I'm going to have basically almost all my lineups with Alvin Kamara and Leonard Fournette, which never happens. I've got 75+% of both of those guys today, and that is kind of scary. Do I have 75 or 73%? Either way. 73% of Fournette, 79% of Kamara. I don't think I ever remember a week where I had 2 of these guys that high. Rarely do I have one of them that high. But, I mean, that's what's happening. There's no value on the slate. All the value is being soaked out. And now Alvin Kamara, who I have looking like just like Dalvin Cook, just like Derrick Henry from a points perspective for way cheaper. With no Michael Thomas, 30% target share inbound, double-digit opportunities in the passing game I'm projecting him for. Yeah, tough not to get a lot of that. Leonard Fournette, there's just no value. No value. What do we got here? We got Frank G donating $5 Rooskies. My man Frank G. What's going on, man? Let's go down to what he just says. He says, season long. Henry, need big game. Big Ben. I have Henry, need a big game. Big Ben or Tannehill. Not sure if Tannehill will limit Henry upside. I'll go Big Ben there, my man. He has Waller, also Gage or Marvin Jones. I'll go with Gage and Big Ben. Get that W and take yourself into fantasy championship week, hopefully. Season-long thoughts on Devonte Parker. I'll need to see if he's active. If he's active, I play him unless you have a viable pivot. Somebody says Graham is playing today. I assume you mean Jimmy Graham? Yeah, seems to be playing. Still like Bowden with Parker likely in? Yes, the big piece for Bowden is going to be Gesicki. It seems like Jakeem Grant is out. If Gesicki is also out, which he was doubtful, now he seems to be going towards questionable, potentially can play. I won't like it as much because then Bowden becomes a third option in the passing game. But Gesicki could be banged up. But yeah, as long as Gesicki is also out, Bowden will still look like somebody I want to get a good amount of. I have 26% right now. How many New Orleans players is too much in cash? Oh, man. I don't play cash, so I can't really help you there. Kamara is a lock in cash, and that's the only one that I would consider a lock in cash. I know Dracon Smith. I know Emmanuel Sanders look like good values today. I'm fine getting to one of those. I would not get to both of those. So Alvin Kamara is really all I really want to play in cash at that spot. If you want to get to another one of the wide receivers, I would prefer. I mean, Dracon Smith's 3,200. It's really tough for him to absolutely fail. I would prefer, though, Emmanuel Sanders in cash. But, yeah, you can't really say too much bad things about Dracon Smith. He's so damn cheap. Like, he's so damn cheap at $3,200. Even if you want to play all three of them, like, if he gets you 8 points, that's not great, but he's so cheap. But I would go Kamara, Emmanuel Sanders, and Dracon. You want to play all three of them? That's fine. I don't play cash, so I don't really have the strongest take on that. I probably wouldn't go to all three of them, though. I don't think it's that great leverage, especially with Drew Brees as the quarterback coming off injury. Kiki Kute, Pittman, or AB? Kiki Kute for me. Are that one dude this week at the wide receiver position and somebody that I am miles over the field on. Let me pull up my projections and stuff. So projections, rankings, all that stuff is down below on Patreon. You can follow along per usual, but if you're new here, that's where you can follow along with my projections, rankings, ownership projections. As of basically 2 months ago or so, we started to offer. But right now I have Kiki Kute in. I mean, I have him in, like, he's my second highest home wide receiver. I like him a lot this week where his price tag is at $5,300 in this matchup. Kiki Kute, I have projected for 15 points. I have him as a B plus in GPPs and a B in cash. My latest ownership update was 5.5% owned. That's why he's that one dude, because I'm about 6 times the field on Kiki Kute. Is Dracon Smith in New Orleans a play today? Yes, he's my third highest owned wide receiver at 30% because he's so damn cheap. He's been hot or cold, but if his cold nights are 8 points today, it's not the worst. In a GPP, you need more. You want more. But yeah, he's definitely in play. Should I start Jeffrey over Amari Cooper? Should I start Jeffrey Wilson over Amari Cooper in your season long? No. Kenny Drake or CEH? Or CEH? CEH for me. What is your highest owned stack today? I have 40% Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. How do you feel about Michael Pittman? I like him. I'm not insanely high on Michael Pittman, but I currently have Michael Pittman in. Let me pull my exposures on Fantasy Cruncher, which Fantasy Cruncher, I'm hoping to have a conversation by the end of the year. I reached out to them through email a couple days ago. Have not heard back yet, but they reached back out to me. So potentially can get, I use Fantasy Cruncher, potentially can get you guys some deals or offers. We'll see, though. I have 14% Michael Pittman. He's not like my highest owned guy. I think Michael Pittman is like my 13th highest owned receiver right now at 14%. So I like him. Anything over 10% is a pretty decent ownership number, right? You're getting him in close to 20 of my lineups or so. Is Sony Michel in play? He's in play because he'll probably see 12 to 15 touches in a backfield, but he's inefficient. He stinks. Cam Newton steals goal line touches and overall big play upside in the running game. James White will take the passing game usage, and this Miami defense is good. So I don't like Sony Michel. I don't like people who look like Sony Michel in terms of their skill set, right? Same thing for Damian Harris. That's why I don't play a lot of Damian Harris. He's not catching passes. Damian Harris was at least more efficient than Sony Michel, but Cam Newton's still stealing their touchdowns. They don't get to the red zone often. So Sony Michel would be like the pivot, that range of Michel and White off of Leonard Fournette, but probably not for me. And it's not for me. I have none. Cook, Kamara, or Hopkins today? Kamara. The answer to everything today is probably going to be Kamara. Is this live or recorded? This is live, my man. My boy Sal, good morning, my guy. Thank you, Picasso TV. Good morning to you as well. Is Houston a good team to stack? Yes, they're my second highest owned stack with Brandon Cooks likely to play. Looks really good. Kiki Kute or Brandon Cooks in season long? I have Brandon Cooks projected for more. Love them both as double stacks for Houston today as well. I really need help. I lost Thomas. Damn, that sucks. Flex PPR. Higgins, Sony Michel, Salvin Ahmed, and Gallman. Those all suck, but Rashad Higgins. Freeman might be back. Dude practiced Friday. Yeah, Devonta Freeman, even if he comes back, that guy's a fullback now. That guy's a backup to Wayne Gallman. You know what? I'll go with Gallman over Higgins. Let's go with Gallman over Higgins. Matchup against the Browns. Yeah, let's go Gallman over Higgins. Sal, do you think for season long Corey Davis or Ayuk? The guy I'm playing has Tannehill. I'll go Ayuk. Wide receiver page, please. Yeah, in a second. How do you feel about Swift today? Yeah, he's that one dude, but since Alvin Kamara opened up and we already have Leonard Fournette, it's really tough to want to get to that range, right? I really have all my running back ownership towards like 5 guys today. You can see them on the screen, really 4 guys. So I'm not going to get to much Swift. I have over the field or at the field on all our other that one dudes, but can't get them all some weeks, right? I had like 8% Swift before the news on Michael Thomas being out came in. And now Kamara, you just get way more of, which pigeonholes some of those mid 6K options, like a DeAndre Swift at $6,400 out of your lineup. It's just Cam Akers looks better, and now Alvin Kamara, even for $1,000 more, looks way better. Thanks for the response, man. No problem. Dracon went off without Michael Thomas earlier this year. Drew Brees likes him a lot. I would argue that Drew Brees does not like him a lot. I mean, personally, they probably don't care. In terms of targeting him a lot, definitely not. Dracon Smith went off earlier this year, is what somebody says, without Michael Thomas. And I could also tell you the other 9 out of 10 times that he did not go off, including this year. So it's easy to look at like 1 game samples and make something from it. That's why we do projections with more than 1 game and that have way more variables. But yeah, I mean, Dracon Smith's 3,200. There's not many things that I can say to put him down in terms of like he's not in play today, right? In all formats, because of how cheap he is, because of what your target share you suspect for him to take. But he is by no means a lock to score you 15 points. He's by no means a lock to score you 10 points, right? I mean, I have Dracon Smith not even projecting out that great. He's just so cheap. That's why he pops up a lot. I have Dracon Smith for 9.8 fantasy points today as a median projection, which means his floor is like 5 points, right? Maybe less. His ceiling is clearly in the 20s, right? He can have a downfield touchdown. But yes, Dracon Smith has burnt a lot of people earlier this year even. Dracon Smith has burnt a lot of people even last year in situations when he was dirt cheap and people thought he was coming on. I would say that Dracon Smith is, I mean, he's not a bust yet, but Dracon Smith is this type of game environment away. If you saw no Michael Thomas next week and he doesn't break out and do some stuff, I mean, it's getting to the point where he's a bust at this point in his career. But yes, Mr. Dracon Smith, trying to pull it up right now, probably go up against Snead. He's too cheap. It doesn't really matter to break down into him, but I'm just trying to see earlier this year, the game when he was, multiple games when he was highly popular and did absolutely nothing. Dracon Smith, earlier this year, you're referencing the game against Detroit where he scored, caught 4 passes, ended up scoring 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he does well there, 21 fantasy points. But the week before that, highly chalky against Green Bay, 8 points without Michael Thomas. The week after that, 2.8 points. The week after that, 9, 9, and 8. Those are all without Michael Thomas. Yeah. So I would say, if you ask me to say if he was a good player or not, I would say as of right now, not a good player, but he's cheap. Is Swift out? Is not that one doing it anymore? I see him as a no now. Yeah, I mean, just basically answered it if you're seeing it, or if you heard that or not, you could rewind a second or two. Parker or Russell Gage PPR? If Parker's fully healthy, Parker. But I don't know if you're going to get that. Can you walk me through why you have no like for Brady or Tannehill, please and thank you? Yeah, projection. I mean, there's like 11 variables, so I can make some stuff up on the fly right now if you want me to. Neither of them are mobile. That hurts them. Neither of them, in Tannehill's case, has great game stackability upsides. His best wide receiver is way overpriced in A.J. Brown, as he has been all year and continues to be insanely efficient in his second year. Just not going to get there. Run back option's not the greatest in either of those games. Tom Brady, I have 1% of, so I guess I don't have technically 0. But it's difficult to want to get there. The ceilings on Tom Brady is, more times than not, 25 points. And the stacking options are not the greatest. Mike Evans, you're relying on touchdowns. Antonio Brown, just not it. He's not the same Antonio Brown. And Chris Godwin banged up. So, yeah, Gronk, if you want to get there. Just not getting there. Like, the stack in the overall stack potential and scoring of Kansas City, of Houston, of Arizona, of Baltimore to an extent, even of Atlanta, for me right now, is just way higher than anything that I can put together for Tom Brady. And I mean, Tom Brady's been good this year, but the ceiling upside, like it's almost like yesterday. Like I played Teddy Bridgewater and it worked out for me in a lot of single entry stuff just to be able to get up to the Stephon Diggs lineups with the good running backs. I got Melvin Gordon, Aaron Jones. Devonte Adams doesn't work out yesterday, sadly, but it was still enough. But it's almost like that where you're hoping other guys don't go off and Josh Allen goes off. Luckily, I had enough in 150, so it didn't matter. But if you play Tom Brady today, you're hoping that other guys don't go off, right? You don't have any chance, in my opinion, of matching a 30 to 40 point upside that Kyler Murray brings today, now that he's healthy, that Patrick Mahomes brings today, been healthy, just fantastic, that Lamar brings today. You're hoping that those guys don't go off. So you need a lot of things to go right, and you need Brady to score 25 plus to win the GPP. All these stationary quarterbacks, that's just same exact analysis for Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, if he gets down by 40 points to a team like against Cleveland, sure, when he throws 45 times and he's passing nonstop, yeah, he can win you a GPP. But that's never the goal of that team in the first place. Hopefully that helps. Morning, Sal. What is your pecking order of Texans passing game? Cooks, Kute, Atkins, and Hansen in that order. Thanks, Devonte. Screwed me last night. Yeah, I mean, he definitely did for me too. If he would have scored more, I would have won more, but I guess I can't complain too much. Kiki versus Evans. Better projected. I'll go Kiki. Ridley or Godwin? I'll go Ridley. Juju or Emmanuel Sanders in season long? Juju. Why no David Montgomery? He's more expensive now. All the ownership in that range is going to Alvin Kamara, without a doubt. Montgomery's fine, but it's really hard to choose Montgomery when I have Kamara projected for 5 more points, when I have Cam Akers for a cheaper price point, looking like a better play right now in my projections. That's why it makes it tough. There's nothing bad to say about Montgomery. His role's been fine, but I have Akers in a much better game script and a fine matchup. Ran the 3rd most routes on this team last week, only behind Kupp and Woods as a running back in a blowout. 50 touches the last 2 weeks. Highest team total on the slate. I'm going to Akers for the cheaper price point and Kamara up top. That's why all those guys like Swift, like Montgomery, all those guys in those range that are not named Kamara or Cam Akers are basically losing ownership because of those 2 guys. Dez Bryant, ? Now Hollywood Brown and Boykin are due back today. Dez Bryant will be at best the wide receiver, with Willie Snead also back, at best the wide receiver 3 and 4th option in the passing game. Just hopping on. Why is Swift a no? Because Cam Akers and Alvin Kamara are in that price range. Swift I was going to have 8% of. He was going to be a maybe until Michael Thomas got ruled out. Not anymore. Somebody asked me a kicker question. Never going to answer that. Unless you super chat me, I'll answer it. No interest in answering kicker questions. My man's asking it like 10 times. He's got one more question for this kicker question, and my man gone forever. Sal, I just had some awesome biscuits and gravy. What's your favorite breakfast food, my dog? Hey, breakfast food is by far the best food of the day, in my opinion. Yeah, I make omelets every day. Just say one. I make the best omelets in the world. Your favorite diner's omelet is dry and dusty compared to mine. So, yeah, loaded omelets. Picasso TV donates $5 Rooskies. He says, how do you feel about Shady today? I actually have him projected decent, but I'm not going to get there. It's just tough, right? Like, what does he have to do? He's kind of dusty. We saw him have like one nice run last week. I literally just typed in to try and look him up, Shady, but McCoy. I have him projected for 6.5 points. I have him as a D in cash and a D plus in GPPs. So there you go. If something happens to Fournette, he can be in play. I could see him catching 4 passes, 25 yards, a couple carries for like 8 yards. That's why he's at 6.5 projection, kind of where that comes from. Not something that I like. These shit players, if it's a shit player, they better be getting volume. And Shady's volume of like 5 or 6 touches today is not the volume I want to try and win a GPP. So like none of those guys I can get to. Somebody says only 14 likes. Nah, my man, you just have to refresh on your end. We got over 100 likes. Don't worry about it. We got almost 800 people in here. Been live for about 20 minutes. Appreciate you all a ton. My main man, Sal, the best in the business, says James. Too kind. Cam Akers or Robert Woods? Cam Akers. In season long, which 3 running backs would you choose between Taylor, Kamara, Montgomery, or Sanders? Thanks. Keep up the good work. Kamara, Taylor, and Montgomery. Those 3. I would sit Sanders. You have great running backs, though. Nice job. Godwin or Dobbins PPR? Godwin. You like Mahomes and Kelsey as a start for a single entry, single stack, Sal? Yeah, I do. I think that's fine. I think that single stacking Mahomes with Tyreek, Mahomes with Kelsey, and then running it back is fine. I think that going to Tyreek and Sammy Watkins or Tyreek and Robinson or Tyreek and Hardman, insert instead of Tyreek, Kelsey into all those scenarios, I think that's fine as well. So you can double stack it, you can single stack it. It's tough to double stack Kelsey and Tyreek as much as I want to. Like last week, that stack works if you run it back with Gesicki because Parker got hurt, Grant got hurt, Gesicki got hurt later, but he scored enough points, 20 plus. That stack worked, right? Mahomes scores 25 plus. Tyreek scores 26 plus. You have Kelsey scoring 30 plus. That stacks worked. The problem was you needed cheap guys to fill in, and none of the cheap running backs got you there. Now this week, you have a very nice looking on paper cheap running back in Leonard Fournette that can get you there. Why do you like Akers today? 50 touches in the last 2 games. He's a full workhorse running back and a pass catching back and a goal line back. And he's going to see 20 plus touches overall today, probably 18 plus on the ground. And he's a 17-point favorite against the Jets. And a team that runs the ball the most in the red zone outside of the Baltimore Ravens, and a team that runs the ball top 5 in the NFL right now and thrives off of play action passing. He's a full workhorse back. Darrell Henderson does not exist anymore in this backfield. Malcolm Brown does not exist anymore in this backfield. You're getting Cam Akers as a 17-point favorite with a 30-plus implied total, highest on the slate. Looking like a monster, breaking tackles the last couple of weeks, and now involved heavily in the passing game after these last 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, this is a $7,500 running back at $6,600. Wide receiver page? Sure. Kamara or Taylor in cash? Kamara, it's not even close. The answers to every single question that you ask me today, Kamara or whoever, is going to be Kamara. Like, no matter who that other person is. The answer is Kamara every single time. Thank you, my man. No problem. Derrick Henry or Dalvin Cook? Dalvin Cook. I got 20% Cook and 4% Henry right now. Alshon Jeffrey thoughts? Think he's dusty. Don't have any interest in playing Alshon Jeffrey today. The issue with playing any Philadelphia pass catchers is it's tough. You don't really have a big sample on Jalen Hurts. It seems like he likes throwing to Greg Ward. It seems like he likes throwing to Dallas Goedert, but that's only a couple of a game sample. The most consistent guy that I feel comfortable with is Dallas Goedert, just because I think he can consistently get open in that offense and just tight ends in general can. But no interest. I mean, you've seen 21 routes and 20 routes the last 2 weeks at Alshon Jeffrey, and what's that led to? 2 targets. He caught a 15-yard touchdown last week, his only reception in the last 2 games on running 41 routes. So I have no interest in Alshon Jeffrey. That's like the best that he'll get is a jump ball receiver, and it was just a beautiful throw last week. Just hit that like button. Put me in, coach. Hey, nice work. God for Hurts today. I'll go Hurts. Most start Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the flex. If you're playing one lineup, would you play or fade Derrick Henry? I'd fade him. Michael Edwards and Fournette, I like as an under 5K backs. I don't know who Michael Edwards is. Michelle? That's what you're saying. Michelle, Edwards, and Fournette. Yeah, Fournette's the only guy under there that I like. I may have missed it, but why are you not getting too much DeAndre Swift? Because Alvin Kamara opened up even more with Michael Thomas out. What's up, fellas? What's going on? Sal, do you start Lamar or Wilson in season-long playoffs? Lamar. God or Kamara? I mean, that's the easiest answer in the world, Kamara. Otherwise, I'd be in church right now. Sal, do you start Lamar or Wilson? So Lamar still. Start Crowder, Watkins, or Kirk? Oh, that's a good question. Those guys are all pretty similar to me. If Crowder's quarterback can just throw the ball, like literally, fucking Sam Darnold is terrible. I backed that guy for so long. He's still really young, but it doesn't help when you suck. I want to say Watkins because of just the overall quarterback that he's playing with compared to Crowder. Like, it's such a big difference. But Crowder actually has the 20-plus point upside more so than Watkins and Kirk. I'll go Watkins. The other guys' quarterbacks are or in terms of Kirk, is similar. Crowder has the best individual upside on his own. I just don't trust his quarterback to do anything. He has the best matchup in the slot in that game. But if Darnold throws for another 130 yards like he's been doing every fucking game, really difficult for Crowder to get there. So I like Crowder's PPR upside, but let's just go Watkins overall. Any thoughts on Salman Ahmed? He is questionable, but did practice. Yeah, I mean, him and DeAndre Washington going to split that backfield. Maybe some Laird on like 2 touches. No real strong interest there. I don't think it completely flips back to Ahmed seeing all the work. I think that Henderson or Washington and Ahmed split maybe a 60-40 split. Allen Robinson or A.J. Brown? A.J. Brown. Why no Henry? Henry's a maybe. I have 4%. Dalvin Cook's a better projection. He's a better play in my opinion. And then Alvin Kamara is better than both those guys. So I have way more Alvin Kamara, 80+% or 79%, 20% Cook, and 4% Derrick Henry. Like, the stuff on Derrick Henry is fine. Like, he's going to score 40 points some weeks when they give him the ball 35 times and he breaks a shit ton of tackles like he normally does, and he rushes for 200 yards and a touchdown. But people think he's going to rush for 200 yards and a touchdown every week. I mean, he's done it a couple times in his career. So far this season, Derrick Henry has burnt me 3 times. He has not burnt me like 7 times because he's been on some showdown slates. So I feel fine to continue to play guys like, thank you as well, Javi. I see some super chats. I'll touch on those in a second. But I feel fine playing Dalvin Kamara, who has more outs when the Cleveland Browns get up by 40 and Derrick Henry scores 10 points. Dalvin Cook, I think I said Dalvin Kamara, but both have way more outs. And now Kamara just looks like the best play in the slate. What is your like for Myers? He has been quiet for a while. Yeah, nothing really. It's just projections. I mentioned it in the Patreon Closing Thoughts podcast, if you're a Patreon this morning, that the one spot on the entire slate that I don't feel great about is Jacoby Myers ownership that I have around 18%. I don't feel great about it. Literally none at all. I could take him out of my exposures, and I might do that by the end of the day. But yeah, he's the one player that I have ownership towards today that's significant, like 10% or above, that I don't like. But I like everything else that I have, so I'm not trying to mess around with it too much. But I'll probably look more into it later. But yeah, really not much to like about Jacoby Myers. Target share is still there. You're probably going to see 6 to 8 targets, downfield usage, in the slot usage. But yeah, not much to like there. I'm just getting him in the optimizer right now. So these yeses and nos are based off what the optimizer is doing based on all the rules and exposures that I set. Sometimes you get guys you don't like. That's really the only one I have this week, which is sometimes a surprise. Normally it's a couple guys that you either have to tweak or live with. Start Crowder. We answer that one. 7K to spend. All right, we got some super chats. 7K to spend. Currently Gallup and Mims. Options. 7K to spend and you currently have Gallup and Mims. I don't know what that means. You're choosing between Gallup and Mims, my man Mike? I'm not too sure. I love the content. Best in the business, says Nolan. Man, Nolan just donates $10 Rooskies, and he just wants to say something kind. No question. I'll answer any questions you got, my man. Appreciate that. Too kind, man. Too kind. David Johnson or Mike Evans season long? Mike Evans. Brees or Hurts? Hurts. Brady or Lamar? Lamar. Ayuk or Cooks and Cash? Cooks. Sal's the only person I go to for fantasy football advice. Says, wake up, my man. Wake up. Round of applause to you. You can go anywhere else you want, man. It's a free economy. This is a free market, but I appreciate that you're spending your time here. You don't got to go anywhere else. You can stay right here. Antonio Brown or Lynn Bowden? Thanks. Lynn Bowden if Mike Gesicki is out. Kyle Rudolph is out. Irv Smith still gets more snaps. Yeah, Irv Smith's fine. I think I got 0% right now. He's priced up. Yeah, I got 0%. I got one lineup at Irv Smith. He's just priced up. I'd rather go to Goddard, Hockenson in that range, Jordan Reed, pay down for, Atkins pay down for, pay up for Kelsey and Andrews, who are my highest on tight ends. Gage or Pittman? I'll go Gage. Both look good, though. Can't really make a wrong decision there. Cooks or Hines? Flex. Cooks. My man said Kamara over God. Yeah, I mean, that's an easy decision for me personally. Can you raise the wide receiver list? Raise it. Oh, you mean scroll? Yeah, there you go. Gallup too cheap. I mean, he's been in the 3K range every single week. Does he score the touchdown? Then he pays it off. Does he not? Then probably not. So I don't really mess around with those type of players too much. With your Lamar stacks, who are you running it back with? Yeah, so I've got like 10% Lamar stacks. I'm single stacking it, basically stacking with Andrews. A couple have Hollywood Brown in there. I don't think I'm double stacking any of them. The run back options for me, basically in that game, are going to probably come down to James Robinson I have some exposure to. I think that's fucking it. I think just James Robinson. Maybe I have some Tyler Eifert. No, I got no Tyler Eifert. I have Laviska Shenault. I have Shenault in 5%. So Shenault and Robinson. Emmanuel or Juju? How do you feel about Mohamed Sanu today? Never in my life. Emmanuel or Juju in season long? Emmanuel Sanders or Juju? Juju. Any Dracon Smith for you? Oh, yeah. What's going on, Colin? I got a lot of Dracon Smith. I got 26% Dracon Smith right now. He's just too cheap. I don't think he's a good player. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a great player. I think he's as average as it possibly can be. But he's cheap, and he should see some usage. Like, here's the thing. This is a guy who really wasn't doing much. He's had a couple of nice games this year. He's just too cheap. Like, if you told me that there's going to be no Michael Thomas this week at the start of the week, DraftKings should probably have Dracon Smith priced at $4,200 to $4,500. So that's not a great wide receiver in that range, right, skill-wise? But he's priced at 32, so he is cheap. Like, when he scores 8 points and gets you what you need at 4,500, you're sitting there like, fuck, I mean, this is just meh. When he does 8 or 9 points at 3,200, it doesn't kill you. I want more than 8 to win a GPP, but it doesn't kill you. All right, I'll move over to the tight end page now. Yavi says, appreciate the content. Wilson or Hurts? Thanks, man. I'll go Wilson there. Yeah, Wilson there for sure. Appreciate the super chat. You the man. Favorite tight end on the screen right now. There you go. Highest owned tight end is Kelsey, then Andrews. Sal must win today. Mitch Trubisky or Stafford? Give me Mitch Trubisky there. That might not seem like the obvious answer, but Mitch Trubisky. Lynn Bowden or Antonio Brown? Bowden if Gesicki's out. No love for David Johnson? No, I think I got 1%. I mean, here's the thing. David Johnson 1% owned. When guys like Cam Akers are cheap. When guys like Leonard Fournette are dirt cheap. When guys like Alvin Kamara are cheap. He's $7,400. No, he's cheap. He's cheap for his role today. He should be $8,000 plus, Alvin Kamara. When those guys are cheap, why am I paying for a guy this year in David Johnson that you're hoping gets you 10 points? Like, what has David Johnson done this year? When he doesn't backdoor his way into a receiving touchdown late in the game, I think like against the Packers that one was, whatever it is. What has David Johnson done? What is this backfield between David Johnson and Duke Johnson done for you? Duke Johnson caught a touchdown pass, like a 30-yard touchdown pass on Thanksgiving. That's been like the highlight of this backfield. They don't check the ball down to running backs, right? Deshaun Watson never does that. He uses his legs. They run in between the tackles, which doesn't really help at all David Johnson. Like, he's running for 2 or 3 yards a clip. So it's really tough to like any David Johnson stuff. Like, if you get him, he's dirt cheap. His range of outcomes is like 8 to 15 fantasy points more times than not. Obviously, you can score more than that, but yeah, David Johnson is like the least. If he falls into my lineups because he's cheap enough and there's no value, that's fine. But with Leonard Fournette opening up and some other guys really cheap, it's hard to get there. Like David Johnson once this year has scored more than 15 DraftKings points, or twice. If we go back to week 1, he scored as well. So twice this year he scored more than 15 fantasy points. And both time he needed a touchdown to rely on it. Only twice has he gone over 100 total yards, nothing more than 109. Yeah, tough to really like it. You like Keelan Cole at all today? No. Don't know if you've answered already, but Pittman or Gage? I like both. I have more Gage. Big Ben or Deshaun? Deshaun for sure. Playoff question this week. I went away. My man Anthony donated $5 to the stream. I appreciate that, man. I'm going to see if he has any question. I'll answer it. He says, Hurts or Big Ben in the season long? I'll go Hurts there. Thanks for the super chat, man. How much Kelsey you getting? I believe I'm getting 20+%. I'm getting 23% Kelsey and 23% Andrews. Same amount. Kyler or Lamar in cash? I would go Kyler. I'll go Kyler for the price savings. Chad Hansen or Lynn Bowden? Lynn Bowden. Gage or Qt? I'll go Kiki Qt. Would you use Cooks versus Rhodes? Yeah, I'm fine with that. Cooks moves around the field. Rhodes has been fine this year, but I'm fine with that. Sal, thoughts on Dez Bryant? Old. I would like to see him score a touchdown because I love Dez. Used to play him a ton in DFS and just season long, but no interest. Even if Hollywood Brown wasn't out, I really would have no interest. Their first priority is running with Lamar. Their second priority is running with both their running backs. Their third priority is Mark Andrews. Their fourth priority is Hollywood Brown. Their fifth priority is Willie Snead. Their sixth priority maybe is Dez Bryant. So, I mean, I just don't feel the need to get there, even if he is dirt cheap. Chris Carson or Jonathan Taylor? Jonathan Taylor, my man. Kenyon Drake or Devonte Parker? Devonte Parker if he's healthy and you feel good about it. Murray or Brady? Murray for sure. Hurts/Cooks or Kyler/Gage in cash? Hurts and let's go Kyler and Gage because I think Kyler has a 40-point ceiling that Hurts just doesn't have. I think that you saw a lot of, honestly, the ceiling of Hurts last week. Sure, there can be a little bit more in the passing game there, but 100-plus yards on the ground. I think Kyler, his ceiling in the 40s to 35-plus is something you really don't want to miss out on, and he's getting healthier, and it's showing every single week for each of the last 3 weeks, and last week was a very good performance from him. Fantasy-wise, he might have not stacked the box score, but that's why he's going to be not as highly owned this week. He's dirt cheap at 7K in a good matchup. And he threw for 7 yards per attempt. He ran for the most yards he ran for in a month. He said he felt better. Gobbler Cook says DFS 2. Yeah, I'll go with Gobbler Cooks. I have more Cooks personally, but a lot of that's because of stacks. If you're asking me just for one as a one-off option today, Cooks still, yeah. I think Gobblin's still banged up. Fade Hilton today. Yeah, look, I'm not going to get to Hilton. I know, historically he toasts the Texans. All right, well, okay. Okay, like if that's why you're going to play him, go ahead, play him. But this guy's still not getting separation. Even these last couple of weeks where he's relying on a big play touchdown, he's still not getting separation. So I'm not going to go back to Hilton. Nothing has changed for him except that he's getting some, I guess, variance, right? He's just finding the end zone on these touchdowns. But nothing has changed in terms of his route running, his separation, none of that. So it's going to regress to what we've seen out of the 16 games before these last 2 weeks. Why no Cole Kmet? I'd rather go to Jordan Akins on the cheap end. I'd rather go to Jordan Reed. The upside of these Cole Kmet, maybe he scores a touchdown. I hope he does. It'd be good for the kid. What's the all these tight ends, and he's also more expensive now. I'd rather go to Jordan Akins down there in stacks, and I'm really trying to pay up for tight end this week. There's not a lot of stack options or cheap options. How much Ayuk are you getting? Yeah, I'm going to be well below the field on Ayuk. I think I have 5%. Just no interest in stacking that game. I have 8 lineups, 5% of my lineups with Ayuk. I believe that will be well below the field. Looks good. Looks strong. Is a good player. Would consider putting him in single entry lineups and stuff like that, but he doesn't get into any of my stacks, team or game stacks, because I don't like really either side of that San Fran or Dallas game to stack up. So that really limits the upside of him getting into 10+% of my lineups. Paul donates $2. Thank you, man. He says Brees or Hurts and MJG. Brees or Hurts and MJG or Emmanuel Sanders. Thanks. All right. So I think you're asking me Brees or Hurts. I'll go Hurts, and Marvin Jones or Sanders. I will go Sanders. Michael Pittman thoughts. Yeah, I got 14%. Looks good. Looks good. Projected. I'll give you the projection. I have 21 lineups with Michael Pittman right now. 14%. Looks decent. Nothing great. Nothing. It's like average ownership for me. I'm at 12 fantasy points. Just looks decent. He's just kind of there. Thoughts on Corey Clement? So somebody want to tell him? Thoughts on Corey Clement? Or Corey Komet? That might be his brother. I don't know anything on his college prospects or high school prospects. But Cole Komet, yeah, Cole Komet, 7+ targets in back-to-back games. A red zone target in each of those. Scored a touchdown 2 weeks ago, right? The usage has been great for him. 79%, 95%, 86% of the snaps, 33, 33, and 24 routes run each of the last 3 weeks. All that stuff looks great, right? All that stuff looks great. I'm not getting much because he doesn't fit into any stacks I really want to work with. His projection is just kind of meh, and his price point has come up. So I have 2 lineups, 1% of Cole Kmet. I have more Hayden Hurst. I have more Jared Cook, Jordan Reed, Hawkinson, Goddard, Atkins, Kelsey, and Andrews. I just don't know how to get more of Cole Kmet. If Cole Kmet was still $2,500, yeah, I'd probably get to some more Cole Kmet. But he's now $3,000. That's a decent price difference when you're talking about value tight ends for what they have to do for you. What's up, people? How y'all doing today? Why is Jonathan Taylor a no for you? Because he is priced right next to Alvin Kamara, and the answer in almost every single one of my lineups is Alvin Kamara over Jonathan Taylor. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Also, Cam Akers is cheaper, and he's projected out for more fantasy points for me than Jonathan Taylor. I love Jonathan Taylor. I love JT. We were on him last week. We were on Jonathan Taylor last week when the entire fantasy industry pivoted off of him. He was our that one dude last week. There's proof. You can go check the tape. That one dude, Jonathan Taylor. We were on him last week. Played him in single entry. He blew the fuck up. He might have saved my week single-handedly in those single entry lineups. He's a monster. He was great. Now he's priced up. Still not too expensive. He's fine, but he's just in a range where, Alvin Kamara opened up and no Michael Thomas? Yeah. We're going to go there. We're going to go for the guy that I projected for 6 more points than Jonathan Taylor for $200 more. Jared Cook or Komet, season long. I'll go Jared Cook. Any love for Chris Carson today? No, sir. No love for Chris Carson out of me so far today. I have 0 lineups with Mr. Chris Carson. Carson or Swift? Swift. Bowden or Gallup? Bowden. Akers or Henderson? Who gets the touches? Easy Jimenez. I'm not sure if you've paid attention in the last couple weeks. Maybe not. Maybe you're just tuning in. But the answer there is Cam Akers. Darrell Henderson does not exist as a human being on a football team these days. Cam Akers, the last 2 weeks, has 50 touches. Last week, he saw 32 opportunities. He saw 5 red zone touches. He saw all the usage, right? 82% of the snaps, 29 carries, 17 routes run. The week before that, 25 routes run. This is the Cam Akers only show. This is the Cam Akers only show. Maybe Darrell Henderson sees 2 touches, but Cam Akers is going to profile out for close to 20 plus opportunities today. What defense? The one where you close your eyes and you point it on the screen and you take that one. That's my in-depth analysis on defense. Traquan and A-Rob or Gage and Cooks? Traquan and A-Rob. Yeah, for sure. Why is Richie James not in the convos today? Why would he be in the convos today? I don't know. Why would Richie James be in the combos today? Richie James had one good game on a short week against the Packers when his entire team had COVID or was injured, right? That included Brandon Ayuk, who is now out there now. That included a lot of their running backs who are now out there. So, yeah, look, Richie James is not the 9-catch, 184-yard on 13 targets guy that he was when he destroyed Josh Jackson, who since then really has not played much for the Packers. He's not that guy, right? He's not that guy who did it on 102 errors and was the wide receiver 1 in week 9. I think he's a talented player, but he's more so the guy that you've seen lately. 3 catches, 30 yards. 3 catches, 26 yards. 1 catch, 29 yards, right? And the week that he did that, there was no Brandon Ayuk. They were playing way, way, way from behind. He's in an easy matchup this week, but he's behind. Kendrick Bourne in the pecking order. Actually, is Kendrick Bourne injured this week? But Kendrick Bourne in the pecking order. He's behind Ayuk. He's behind Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed also that week on Thursday night when he went off against Green Bay. Jordan Reed was limited, was not playing. Ross Dwelly was their tight end. They had no options. Richie James was literally the number 1 option on his team that week. The running backs were banged up. Now the running backs are ahead of him. Now Brandon Ayuk is ahead of him. Now Jordan Reed is ahead of him. So he's not that same guy that we saw for 1 week on a primetime game. Thoughts on Irv Smith? I don't have any right now. I think he's fine, but the price point is coming up to the point where Irv Smith is not the same Irv Smith. He's not $2,800 Irv Smith. He's not $3,200. He's $3,600 now. So I much prefer Jordan Reed in that range with no George Kittle still. Jordan Reed has been great on a per route basis. If you're paying down, I would look towards Jordan Reed, Dallas Goedert, Jordan Akins, all those guys in that range I like a little bit more. Even Cook. Sal, happy holidays, bro. Thank you. He says pick 1. Jeff Wilson, James Conner, Devonte Parker, Russell Gage. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. I mean, my answer to that is going to be James Conner's banged up. Devonte Parker's banged up. Tough match. I'll go Russell Gage. Andrews or Qt in the flex? I don't put tight ends in the flex, so Qt. All right, Sal. Corey Davis or Miles Sanders in the flex for your yearly league? I'm debating out of these two. I'll go with Miles Sanders. Mostert or Dobbins? Mostert. Who are your favorite Super Draft plays? Says Chris Rogers. My man, Chris, what's up, man? Yeah, let's look at Super Draft. Not the sponsor of today's show, but we can definitely talk about Super Draft, a site that I love to play on, a site that is fantastic. Proud sponsors of a lot of the stuff here we do at Vetri Media, this podcast, this YouTube channel. So I guess we'll have to go by position. Let's go with the... let me actually change some stuff here. I'm going to have to update some of the ownership stuff on Patreon after this stream, but let's go with the wide receiver position for Super Draft. My top 3 Super Draft plays based on projection. I'll give you top 4 because they're close. Allen Robinson, Kiki Qt, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage. I mean, Allen Robinson still with a 1.3x multiplier is insane. Thoughts on James Robinson? What's up, Gerald? How you doing, my man? James Robinson I like. He's my 5th highest on running back. After James Robinson, I have nobody above 5%. So I only have 5 running backs above 5% owned today because a lot of this concentrated in Kamara and Fournette, then Akers, Cook, and Robinson. I got 12%. He's decent. He's in run backs basically of some stacks. Kind of just finds his way into some lineups. My man T, just T, that's all his name is. Smooth T, short, sweet, I like it. $5 donation, appreciate that. Super chat, what's up? Like that, thank you. He says, DraftKings, Akers / Jags or Drake and Patriots. So I don't even care about the defenses there. I don't even care what their prices are. I have no idea what their prices are. It's Akers over Drake by a mile. If Drake scores 2 touchdowns, he might come close to what Akers puts up today. Henry and Ayuk or Taylor and Hill. I actually like Jonathan Taylor and Tyreek Hill over Ayuk and Henry. So good questions. I actually like those questions. Good questions, man. Aaron Rodgers is going under owned. Go get you some. Possible 40 points. Yes, Aaron Rodgers. Again, if you are a patron and you are a subscriber, Patreon down below. I don't know why you aren't signed up. If you've been supporting this channel for like a year now and you won $1 Ruski enough to purchase Patreon, consider supporting over there. It's what keeps us holding in business. The patrons are the producers of the show. They're running the show right here, right? They make the lights stay on, if you will. But be sure to check it out. Down below, patreon.com/Sal_Vetri_. Put a link in the chat. Get the bot or something based on how many times I say. They usually put it in, a.k.a. me. Yeah, we have... Oh, man. This is actually really scary. Somebody's got to sign up for Patreon. We have 666 patrons right now. 666. And I'm not on church on a Sunday right now. And these are some signs. And I just said... I'd rather play Alvin Kamara today. I'd choose Alvin Kamara over God. Now 666 patrons. Ooh. Rough sights for me today. What's up, Sal? Happy Sunday. Kute or Marvin Jones. Thanks, buddy. Chamberlain, what's up, man? How you doing? I'll give me a Kiki Kute there. Dante Jones donates $2 Ruskies to the stream. My man, how the fuck are you? He says, start Murray or Hurts. Flex T.Y. or Deontay. Deontay in the flex and start Murray over Hurts. Yes, sir. Again, a lot of people in the super chat. I appreciate you all a ton. Some people becoming subscribers over here on YouTube. Hey, I want to hit 35,000 subscribers. 35,000. It's a nice whole number. We're less than 500 away. We have 11 days to do it by the end of the year. We're 430 away as of this exact second. So hit that subscribe button if you're not already. And if this is your first time finding me, let me know. I think right now we have almost 1,000 people watching. That's pretty damn cool for week 15 after everybody got their football fixing on a Saturday, right? Maybe sleeping in on a Sunday, especially in your West Coast people. Not even 8 o'clock yet. Pretty good. Pretty good to be almost hitting 1,000 in week 15 when people usually start to fade out a little bit because their season long's over, whatever it might be. So I appreciate you guys a ton. Appreciate you, says Cameron. Appreciate you as well, my man. A lot of super chats coming in. Look at all this stuff. Look at all this stuff. Chapel Hill, very close to where I'm at right now. He says, crazy to start Big Ben over Russell Wilson, question mark? Not crazy. Big Ben's matchup is good against the Bengals, without a doubt. I will still go Russell Wilson there. Like, Russell Wilson, what has he done bad for you? Like, Russell Wilson in real life, sure. The turnovers are the issue that do not keep him in the MVP race, right? Those are the issue. But what has Russell Wilson really done bad for you in fantasy to want to run away from him? He got pulled in the third. He got pulled to start the fourth quarter last week. Geno Smith played a whole quarter. Russell Wilson did all he could in 3 quarters, 4 touchdown passes, right? Over 200 yards. So I really don't know why we're running away from Russell Wilson, right? Yes, he had the bad week against Philadelphia where he scores 14 points. Against the Giants, he only scores 16 points. 2 tough matchups that have good pass rushes. But he hasn't done too much bad for you overall. Like, yes, the last month maybe some growing pains for you and putting him in your lineup. But at this point in the season, I'm going Russ Wilson, especially in this matchup, the team total that they have over Big Ben. Good question, Chapel Hill. What do you see Henry's ownership will be this week? Probably 20+%. I have him around 27% right now. I got to do one final update, though. Repeat the top 4 wide receivers on Superdraft, please. Yeah, I mean, you can scroll back. I can check it in a second. But let me pull back up the running back page. We can pull back up the quarterback and start to let some new people see some of the new stuff. Clyde Edwards-Helaire or McKissick at the flex this week. My man, go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Drake or Dobbins? Drake. Any Sammy Watkins today? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. If we have 40% Patrick Mahomes stacks today, we are getting some Sammy Watkins. I got 13% Sammy Watkins, and I love it. I've been running Sammy Watkins like each of these last 3 weeks, and each of these last 3 weeks, I've been saying, God damn it, fuck my life. Last week, Sammy Watkins had like a 45-yard catch early on, and I was like, this is it. 100-yard bonus, maybe a touchdown, 20-plus points. We're going to ship this thing with our Tyreek Hill, our Kelsey lineups with Watkins, and they all did fine. Just not enough value running backs got there. Starts your studs. Murray got you there. Yep, I agree. How many points will Fournette get? I have him projected for 14. Dad says, looking good. So round of applause for my mother and father that are watching this. Thanks, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Nick Boyle at captain. Yeah. Trubisky or Ryan today? Good question. I got 5% of both. Let's see what I've projected out more for, though. I like Ryan stacks more. I got Trubisky for 18.5 fantasy points and Ryan for 18. So let's go Trubisky. If you're trying to stack it, I would prefer Ryan, though, with Ridley and Gage as a stack. Ridley or Hopkins? I have more Ridley right now. Any Kendrick Bourne ownership for you? No, I don't think so. No Kendrick Bourne ownership for me. No, sir. The Patreon is worth the insights, fellas, says Rich, or says Dale. I was reading the guy above. Thank you, Dale. I appreciate that. Kiki or Fournette? Fournette there. Anthony says, is Jeff Wilson okay in the flex in the semifinals and season long? Super chat, $5. I appreciate that, Anthony. Yeah, so man, it depends on what your other options are. I don't want to be playing Jeff Wilson this week. I'll be honest, like in no format do I want to be playing Jeff Wilson. But if your only other options are like Frank Gore, then I guess you got to play Jeff Wilson, right? But yeah, I could tell you what I have Jeff Wilson projected for. You're probably not going to like it. I have Jeff Wilson I got him for 9 fantasy points, so I guess that's not terrible, depending on what your alternative is. So it's not terrible. Peanut Butter 16X. What a fucking name. Donates $5 Rooskies. He says, season long, pick 2. Zeke, Drake, Dobbins, Hines, full PPR. Zeke and, let me see between Drake and Dobbins. Zeke is going to be one answer for sure. Dobbins I have for 12.8 points and Drake 11.6. So Dobbins and Zeke for me. No Richie James love on DraftKings? Nope, not for me. Favorite Jags wide receiver? Laviska Shenault today. But don't really like any of them all that much. Who would you captain for the Saints versus Chiefs games? Question mark. Kamara? Yeah, man. So I don't even know the prices on that. I don't really look into any of the showdown stuff unless it's like a Monday or Thursday night slate or like a random Friday like we'll have for Christmas this week. So I don't have a good answer for you. Kamara is the best player on the slate for the main slate, but the salaries might be different. If they released that before Michael Thomas got ruled out, then Kamara's still probably a pretty nice option there, but he'll also be the highest owned. Money. Nice. I think 49ers run all day, probably. Brees, Kamara, and Cook, running it back with Watkins. Nuts, question mark. That's not crazy. That's fine. I try and get another guy from whether it's Kelsey, whether it's Tyreek to fit in there, but I think that's fine. I don't want Brees, personally. Like, I would never play that lineup because it doesn't mean it's a bad lineup, because I have no interest in playing Drew Brees today. I just don't trust that he can really do too much for that offense. I need a for sure touchdown scorer today. There you go. Best of luck. Running back chart, please. Yeah. What are we at right now? We're almost live for an hour at this point. Yeah, we'll touch on Jock Market in about 9 minutes when that final hour of the market is going. The sponsor of the show. Make sure to touch on them. Brady or Wilson in season long? Wilson for me. Any Tyreek Hill today? For sure. Tyreek Hill I have in, definitely. I mean, I'm getting so much. So I got 11% Tyreek today. Is Greg Ward worth a shot at 3K? I don't have any, but if you were to stack up, that's a lie, I have 3%. So I guess he's worth a shot. He's not my first, second, third, fourth. He probably gets into the lineup like 140 of my lineups, but he's decent. I'd probably only play him if you're trying to stack him with Jalen Hurts, though. Would you spend for Kelsey or Tyreek today? If I had to pick one, I have more Kelsey. The difference between that tight end position and what Kelsey's doing this year, it's insane. I think you can play both. You just have to get a little bit strategic with the rest of your lineup. Playing a cheap wide receiver, playing a Fournette, punting maybe at tight end. Well, if you're playing both, you really can't punt at tight end. Running it back instead of Kamara with a Dracon Smith, or you can go Kamara and Dracon. There's your cheap wide receiver, right? I think you can play both today. It just gets a little bit difficult. But yes, I think that is a fine option. I would choose Kelsey over Tyreek if you had to pick one. What are your thoughts on Bowden? I like him. I got 26%, assuming that we can say Gesicki is out, which we shall know in a couple minutes. And really, that's a lie. We should know that in like 58 minutes, not a couple. But I got, actually, my latest update, 19% Lynn Bowden, 28 lineups. Again, that is assuming Gesicki is out. They're saying that Jakeem Grant will miss today. Devonte Parker is banged up. 2 weeks ago when Gesicki and Grant were in, he had 4 catches, 41 yards, and an 11-yard rush, scored 9.5 points. I know it's a 1-week sample. But as the number 2 option on this team in the passing game, if Gesicki was out, I like him at that price point. I like him more than, well, I have more Dracon Smith, 7% more, but that has to do with stacks, running back the Chiefs stacks. Try and fit in some guys. I like Bowden more than Dracon Smith if Gesicki is out. Good questions, Mr. Jake. Jefferson or Thielen? Jefferson for me. I'll prefer the upside. Thielen has the touchdown upside without a doubt, but I'll prefer the big slate smashing upside of what Jefferson can bring to you. Hey, Sal, got any good book recommendations for sports analytics? Thanks, man. You're awesome. Yeah, there's a couple. It depends. There's some like specific for baseball. There's some specific for basketball. Overall, I haven't read one that's like overall for like sports analysts because I just don't like how general they are. I try and read one specifically for NFL, basketball, and baseball is what I've read them on. Trading Bases, I believe, is the one book that is kind of just like general sports betting, and it talks a lot about analytics in there. I believe it's called Trading Bases. That's like a well-known one. Let me just make sure that's it. Yeah, by Joe Pita. Yeah, so Trading Bases by Joe Pita, that's going to be like one of like the ones that's like highly regarded as a very strong general book for sports analytics. I've read that one. I think I might, if I didn't throw it out, I think I still have it back there. It's a little bit older, but a lot of the tactics will remain the same. So that's kind of like for becoming a sports bettor and just understanding analytics a little bit more, but then there's some specific for sports. I also have a lot of books. I think Trading Bases is going to be one of them on my Instagram. So if you want to follow me, Sal_Vetri, I post some stuff over there, as many people do. Not as active over there, but definitely trying to be more active. But I have highlights on my Instagram. I can just pull it up right here. So I have highlights on my Instagram, and basically, so you can see some posts, but the books, right? So the books are just, lately I've been rating the books, but I have somebody reached out to me yesterday on Instagram, so I just put all the books that I can remember myself reading in the last couple of weeks on here, or last couple of years. These are probably the books that I've read in the last 2 years. I'm finishing up a couple more right now. I haven't put it, so there's Trading Bases. So Trading Bases. There's a lot of other analytic books that I didn't put on here just because they're really short. There's probably like 3 or 4 books missing from here, but these are probably like the 40 books. Part of like the 40 books that I've read in the last couple of years, last 2 years or so. I try and read at least a book a month. My goal really was to start reading a book every 2 weeks. Audible has helped that a lot. So that's not all updated, so I'll have to update it. But yeah, that should help. McCole Hardman or Demarcus Robinson in your groups? I have both in my groups. Right now. I have both Robinson and Hardman in my groups for the Chiefs today. Hilton or Pittman Jr.? Pittman Jr. Play Gronk or Ebron for the tight end slot? Ebron for me. Sal, my man, I need your help. Hurts or Goff for my season-long semifinals? Best of luck. Let's get to the championship, my man. Let's go with Hurts. Watson or Hurts? Watson. Hey, Sal, why no love for Brady? There's so many mobile quarterbacks that have a major ceiling that Brady doesn't have. hoping that Brady scores you 24 points, and you're sitting there like, this is a great performance. That's like the median. That's the average outcome for your Russell Wilsons, for your Mahomes, for your Watsons, for your Lamars, maybe even your Hurts with his rushing upside. For your Murrays, I just don't have interest in these guys anymore. Like, the game is changing. The game started to change last year with Lamar Jackson, and it's changing in a major way this year when guys like Hurts pop up, when Kyler's popping up, when Russ is running more, when Mahomes is more mobile this year than ever, when Watson continues to run for 30 yards a game with rushing upside. Brady needing to get you 300 yards and 3 to 4 touchdowns to win a GPP or even come close. So many things have to go right. And then those other guys, Murray, Mahomes, they can't drop the 40-point games that they've dropped multiple times this year. Same for Russell Wilson. So, I mean, that answer, why no Brady, is going to be the same answer for basically, like, Matt Ryan is like the one exception if Julio is healthy, where he has strong stacking options, elite yards after the catch receivers in Julio, yards per out run guys in Ridley and Julio, and he throws a lot, and he's cheap usually. But Brady's priced up. Brady doesn't run. Brady's got an injured right now, banged up Chris Godwin. He's got a receiver, Mike Evans, that's a touchdown body, and that's it. It's just tough. If those guys were great yards after the catch guys, like Godwin when he's healthy, that's a different story if they can actually do more for him. But he has to do so much for that offense on his arm. Evans not doing anything after the catch. None of them are. It's tough. It's really tough. He has to be super efficient and get volume. Wide receiver page? Sure. I'm from Oklahoma. Hi, I'm from Oklahoma, somebody says. Interesting. Odd guys. Need a for sure score today. Need dollar whiskeys for Christmas? Gucci. Uh-oh. If you were a washing machine, which defense would you spit out? Hopefully the cheapest one. Taylor or Robinson? Robinson for me today. Any super chats I missed? Yeah, a couple up here. Wowza. Mr. Freddy, 233, donates $5 whiskeys. He says, Brees or Mitch Trubisky? I'll go Mitch Trubisky. Probably something that people didn't think I would say, but I'll go there. Thank you for the super chat, man. Anthony donating $10 whiskeys. He says, I have Lynn Bowden, DJ Shark, Jacoby Myers in season long. Can you rank the order in season long interest? Bowden, Jacoby. Actually, if we're talking about just straight up points, Jacoby, Bowden, and Shark. Any love for Steve Sims Jr.? Good morning. So he ran 18 routes last week. Nice to see some more routes run, but no. He's like the fourth total option with Haskins throwing, so no. Let's win big today, though. I agree with that. So, my man Andrew, an Italian, I think. Sal Petrero. Got my name and his last name. Italian. Wow. How you feel about a Lamar and Andrew stack? I like it. I got like 11% Lamar. I got 20% Andrews. I'm definitely stacking them up today. Fellas, I'm late, but good morning, says Matt. Same to you. Jason donating $5 to the stream. He says, Sal, playoff season long. Big fucking shit here. I have Zeke. He's in a bad matchup and banged up. Options are Fournette or Drake. Or I can get 4 wide receivers, Gage, Corey Davis, and Sanders. I'd start Zeke. If you don't, then Fournette, though. Miles Sanders or James Robinson? J-Dub donates $2. He says, Cam, Cousins, or Ryan in my season-long league. Since you super chatted, I'll give you the exact projections for those guys for me. In a 4-point passing touchdown, I have Cousins for 17.7 points. I have Mr. Cameron Newton at 17.5, and I have Matthew Ryan at 18. So I'll go Matt Ryan there. Amex exposure to Lynn Bowden. If Mike Gesicki is out, I currently have 19%. That could change, though. Let me see here. Answer this question on the Discord. If you want to become a patron, you get access to the Discord. Somebody asked me how many uniques. Just answered that. And somebody asked me Cam Sims or Dracon Smith. So I'll answer those guys quickly so we can make sure that they're all caught up to speed. A couple other questions came in, but I'll answer those afterwards. Why Matt Ryan a maybe? No Julio, Bucks D. It's the same answer for the Tom Brady stuff. Matt Ryan, for him, I mean, first of all, he's been bad this year, especially with Julio. So yeah, like I have way less interest because Julio's out. But in general, what has Matt Ryan done for you? He's had one game where maybe he wins you a GPP, maybe. You need Matt Ryan to go off, right, to score his 28 points, 26 points, which is rare. Like one time it's happened this year. And then you need all those other guys to not go off, right? All the other guys who have rushing upside. All the other guys in his price range, like a Hurts, that have rushing upside. Like a Mitch to a lesser extent. And that's not even taking into account all the mega upside 40-point ceiling Russ, Kyler, Mahomes, right, Lamar. So I have like 5% Matt Ryan. I can't, like last year, the year before, sure, these Matt Ryan guys that you can pay down for, yeah, that's the way to go. But this is a different game now. DFS is a totally different game where these these quarterbacks up top, these guys up top that I'll go to right now, these guys like Josh Allen last night. When Josh Allen's downside is 20 points and his upside is 40-plus points like he did last night, sure, Aaron Rodgers was on the slate, so there's some bailout potential. In the first half, looked like it was going to get there, and 3 quarterbacks scored a rushing touchdown on a 2-game slate yesterday, which is pretty wild. Teddy Bridgewater bailing some of us out with 18 fantasy points. But when those guys are on the slate, if you're playing somebody else, if you're not playing one of these studs up here that has rushing upside, one of these studs, if you're not playing them, you need to root against all of them going off. All of them. Not one of them touching 35-plus points, which most weeks one of them has, right? And not only that, then you need your Matt Ryan, who's only averaging 282 yards per game, who's only averaging 0.45 fantasy points per dropback. The second worst on the slate. Only Andy Dalton, actually, I assume Darnold's worse. Yeah. So only Andy Dalton and Darnold and Nick Mullins have been worse on a per attempt basis than Matt Ryan in fantasy this year. So, I mean, like that. If you're going to try and pitch me on a guy who is not mobile and can get points on a fantasy point per dropback basis, you're probably going to have to try and pitch me on like Ryan Tannehill. And even then I'm probably saying no because all these other mobile guys have been terrible. Brady, 0.53 fantasy points per dropback compared to all these other guys. It's just insane. All the guys who are mobile are at like 0.7 or 0.8 or Taysom Hill over 1 fantasy point per dropback. It's just really difficult. Projection-wise, it doesn't add up. Hopefully that helps. Casey Stacks popular. How do you feel about Mahomes? Naked with Kamara allows some more. No, I would only stack Mahomes. I'm only stacking Mahomes. Look, he's $8,000, so if he goes for 30, there's going to be some cheaper quarterbacks in the slate who drop 25 to 32. You want Mahomes so you can correlate together all the upside and have to get less right. The Mahomes stacks, the Casey Stacks being popular, not going to be that popular, right? Stacks don't get popular. If you're playing higher stakes, sure. I have Mahomes projected for 9% today ownership. If you're going to stack up 3 to 5 guys from that game, you stack up 3 guys, maybe those 3 guys are stacked in the same lineup in a 0.5% of the lineups. You stack up 5 guys, rarely will somebody be owning that. A couple guys might be owning that, but then once you put in other guys, you're fine. So the whole point of stacking is to have to get less right, and the additional bonus is it makes you more unique. So I don't really worry about quarterback ownership like at all, unless a guy's like 30% owned. Like and that never happens. Zeke or Peyton Barber today? Zeke. Zeke. Do you like Mostert today? Not really. If Leonard Fournette didn't open up, I would probably have more interest in Mostert, but I get none of him right now. Ready for some golf? Yeah, golf starts, the second week of January. So, we'll be in the NFL playoffs. We'll be in the NBA season long, and we'll be in the golf season back again. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do golf videos consistently when the NFL is still going on, but definitely come February, more than likely. All in on Watson, Kamara, and Ayuk. Best of luck. Charlie Woods, somebody said. Yeah, we now call him Charles after his performance. Miles Sanders or James Robinson? Ayuk or Allen Robinson. Watson or Ben? Watson. Audible is the way to go. Yeah, Audible is the way to go, but I have it. I have an extra token I'm listening to Never Split the Difference, but I need to be focused on the book, right? In the gym. Like if I was at the gym, it'd be the perfect spot. Shooting hoops, lifting weights, whatever. Like when I run, I try and listen to Audible, but I have so many podcasts that I'm trying to listen to. I've been catching up on all the NBA stuff from Dunked On Prime to get all caught up with the season on all these teams, their depth charts, their moves, their new coaches, all that stuff. So we just finished that. So now I can listen to some more Audible. But the problem is, I can't listen to Audible and do work on my laptop, do Excel work, projections, whatever. I don't stay focused. Whereas I can listen to a podcast and do that. So if I'm not going to be focused on it, might as well just read the fucking book, right? If I'm going to have to sit there and focus on listening. So when the gyms open back up, or when I don't have to wear a mask at the gym, I was going to the gym, but I can't go shoot basketball hoop with a mask on the whole time and wear a damn fucking mask on my face. It's just disgusting. So I just don't go to the gym. I just run outside. So yeah, Audible's good. It's just for whatever reason, I'd rather just read the books right now. I got in a kick with Audible and I actually can go to the gym, but I can't pay attention to the book when I'm doing work as I can with a podcast. So that's why I deleted Scribe too. I was subscribed to both of them. Watson or Murray? Murray for me. Watson for the stacks, Murray if you're talking cash. Pick 2, Shark, Deontay, Lockett, and Deontay. You like Hayden Hurst today? I have Hayden Hurst in a whopping 2 lineups, 1%. So not really. Deontay or Jefferson? Deontay. How much Fournette are we looking at today? I have Fournette in 73% of my lineups. Sal the man, who are your stacks / runbacks for the KC / New Orleans game? I'm not stacking New Orleans, so Kansas City, my group is all the receivers, right? Tyreek, Robinson, Hardman, Watkins, Kelsey. Runback options are Kamara, Sanders, Dracon Smith, and Cook. Any love for Gus Bus? Nah. Deontay Johnson or Mike Evans season long? Deontay Johnson, my man. Deontay Johnson. Sure, he's dropping passes, but he's way better than Mike Evans. Entries in. Thanks for everything, Sal, and good luck to the game. Good luck to you as well, my man. Less than 2 hours, or exactly 2, until the NFL starts. The games this week for Week 15, the main slate, 11 games we get. Also, everybody, right now, if you're not already, check out Jock Market. Download it down below today. Daily Fantasy Sports meets the spots. Daily Fantasy Sports meets a stock exchange and Jock Market. I'm opening up the app right now on my phone to see what these prices look like. So it's free to enter the market, and then you could buy stocks and players. You don't have to build the whole lineup. You can just buy some stocks and players right now. So, for example, like the prices aren't going to be crazy right now. They're only a couple bucks. But if your guy finishes first overall, scores the most fantasy points, you pick, let's just say Kamara today, scores the most fantasy points, you get $25 per share that you own. So if you end up buying Kamara for like $13, you get $12, right? Get you from the 13 that you bought him for to the 25 that he's now worth. $12 per share. So if you bought 10 shares, bam, you just won $120. And it's that exact same format, except the first place is in $25 valuation. You go down from there. So basically, you're just trying to bid low as you can, but still secure that player, and then root for their fantasy points to go up. So it's all about finding value. And if you have my projections on DraftKings, that's going to be correlate. It's going to correlate a lot over with the value today in that market. So there's a free market too if you want to play. If you use my name, Sal10, SAL10, they give you a free $10 upon signing up and downloading and using a deposit on the app. So be sure to check out Jock Market down below. We can touch on the market right now a little bit. I do think that you're going to see Kamara be very highly owned, and that's fine as long as his break even makes sense. If he's going to be like priced up there as if he has to score in the top 3, I'll stay away from Kamara. But some lower guys who have bigger ceilings, like Tyreek Hill is somebody that I'll be looking at. But I like to go down towards this middle range because you find guys that have some upside, like the quarterbacks like Andy Dalton, Mitch Trubisky. You can almost like exclude those guys in Jock Market for getting you like a top 10 performance or even a top 20. But there's guys down here that are going to be a little bit under the radar. Allen Robinson and Calvin Ridley, we had ownership towards last week. Bang, they both got us there. Even Austin Eckler did fine. Had a very good week last week on week 14. Austin Eckler did not do fine on Thursday night, but that's a different week. Emmanuel Sanders or T. Smith since Michael Thomas is out. I have a lot of both. They're 2 of my 3 highest owned receivers, or 2 of my 4 highest. I have more Sanders right now. But T. Smith is really cheap. But you have Brandon Ayuk right now at just $4 he's selling for. Justin Jefferson. Keep an eye on Justin Jefferson. Tougher matchup against Chicago, but Justin Jefferson is not going to be owned this week. And if he's not going to be owned, it likely means he's going to be cheap in Jock Market. And this guy has the potential to be a top 3 overall option. Like you can buy Justin Jefferson maybe today for like $5, and he could be the highest scorer, right? And you just 5 extra value in how many shares. And if it's only $5, you want to buy 10 shares, you spend $50 on Justin Jefferson today, and now you're 5xing, right? Now you're winning $250. That's the type of stuff that I like to look for. Wide receivers that have high ceilings, tight ends who have high ceilings, and dual threat running backs in this cheaper range normally. So Justin Jefferson is one of those guys who have high ceilings that fits that standpoint. Cam Akers is going to be down that list, and people probably won't scroll as much. Those type of guys that I think have some pretty big upside today. I'm scrolling down towards the bottom. Not as much down towards the bottom here. Zeke being banged up, I probably stay away. Not as much towards the bottom. But those type of guys I'll be looking at. Allen Robinson, some of the Cam Akers, and really I'll be keeping an eye on Justin Jefferson's price today in Jock Market. So be sure to check it out down below. Drake or Kiki for the flex. Kiki for me. We get Ryan donating €550. I think those are euros. I'm not sure. For fantasy, Watson or Tannehill? Watson. I have Henry opponent has Davis and Jonnu, so our teams cancel out. If Tannehill plays well, need big points. Cheers. Watson for me, my man. Watson for me. Thank you for the super chat. Which game is your favorite to stack and run back? My favorite stack is the Chiefs today. So running it back with New Orleans on the other side. Make sure I hit on all these super chats. I believe that I did. Sal, the stream really helps each week. Thanks for doing it. My man, no problem. Sal is awesome. David, you're too kind. He says, half-point PPR. I need 2. Woods, Jefferson, Deontay Johnson, or McLaurin. Oh, fuck. You got some good fucking wide receivers, my man. You got some motherfucking good wide receivers. So, Woods, Jefferson, McLaurin, and Deontay. I'm gonna be going with McLaurin. I have him for 17.5 points. I have Woods for about 16. I have Jefferson right now for 17. It's going to be coming down to Jefferson and Deontay for me. So if you think you have a good chance to win in season long, go Deontay. If you think it's going to be close, go Deontay. If you think you're the underdog and need the big upside, Deontay can get you there, but I think Jefferson has more upside. So I'll be going with McLaurin and Deontay more times than not there. Gage with Atlanta or Hansen with Houston? I'll go with Gage. Tight end page, please. Yeah, trick. Yeah. Do you like Mike Evans today? Do you think there is a better play that is cheaper? Yeah, I don't really like Mike Evans today. I don't think I have any Mike Evans today. Do I think there's a better play that is cheaper? Yeah, my man. Mike Evans is not the cheapest of players today. Mike Evans is 6,500. There is way, way, way more players. I can name all the players that I think are better than Mike Evans, point per dollar wise, that are cheaper. And it's going to be basically every single wide receiver below him, outside of like DJ Shark, Jalen Reagor, Willie Snead, and like Christian Kirk, and then you get down to the 4K range. So every other receiver in the 6K range, in the 5K range, not named DJ Shark, I have as a better play as Mike Evans today. Every other receiver in the 4K range outside of Kirk, Willie Snead, and Rieger, and then like the dirt cheap guys that are like Fulgham and guys that don't play. So yeah, definitely like a lot of other guys. In jock market, are you saying they have to be the top player overall or just at their top position? No, neither. The top 25 spots get paid out in jock market. So actually all the spots get paid out. Just if you get the guy who finishes dead last and you buy him for like $4, he's only going to get paid $1, so you lose money, right? That's the whole point of an investment. But you can try and sell him before that if people want to buy in. Jock market, you get paid based on how many fantasy points your players score. There's 70 players in the market if you're playing in the paid market. Depending on how many fantasy points you score, if your guy finishes first overall, he's evaluated as a $25 overall per share. So if you bought him for $9, bang, you just got $16 per share. Now the second place guy, let me look at the exact breakdown, I think is like what, $20 or $18? If your guy finishes second in overall points in that market out of 70 players, you get $20 per share. Third is 18, all the way down to 70, which pays out $1. So that's the whole point of it, right? So no, you get paid no matter where your guy finishes. It's just obviously if your guy finishes dead last and gets $1 per share, you're probably not paying $1 per share for him. You're probably buying him at like $4 or $5 and you lost money on that transaction. It's all about finding value and stable value at that. Thoughts on DeAndre Swift? Becomes a lot less of an interest now that Alvin Kamara looks like a smash play of the decade. Some super chats coming in. A lot of people super chat. Appreciate that. They're yours, man. I'm from Ireland. Thanks. Appreciate that. Thank you for the clarity. Thanks. Nick Boyle, viable on jock market? Always, my man. Always. Los, what do we got here? Any other questions on jock market? Just want to answer there. Do I have to sell manually on jock market or does it sell automatically at the end of the day? If you hold your players all day, it'll just automatically not sell, but it'll give you your shares at the end of the day. But no, if you try and buy right now a player on jock market and then you leave your phone, you won't get them. You will not get them because there's 48 minutes left and that market is about to get hot in the final 20 minutes. You have to outbid everybody. In the last 5 minutes of the jock market, it randomly closes. So it might close 5 minutes before noon. It might close 1 minute before just to kind of keep you on your toes so you can't put in all your wagers at the last minute. But no, you cannot just try and buy somebody right now. You will not get those shares if somebody outbids you. You might get like a partial share, but not all of them. So you really have to stay up. Like I have notifications on. Only app I have notifications on for is Jock Market. Because if I place a bid right now, I want to make sure I don't get outbid 2 minutes before the game starts, right? Michelle season, never that. Sal, don't take my Jefferson shares on Jock Market. We're about to inflate that. The more I say that man's name, Jefferson and Jock Market in the same sentence, he's about to get inflated. We're going to have to fade now. Deontay Johnson or A.J. Brown? Deontay Johnson. Dallin donates $5 Rooskies. Thank you. He says, if you were double stacking Kyler, would you stack him with Kirk or Arnold? Also Michelle season? No, never Michelle season. I have him for 9 points. Never that. I would go with Kirk over Arnold. Arnold's luck box touchdowns the last 2 weeks do not give him the stability for me to put him in a stack over Christian Kirk. Sanu at 3K? Nah. Montgomery or Jonathan Taylor? I will be going with Jonathan Taylor. Hopkins question mark? Yeah, I got 20+%. Any news on Baltimore receivers? Yeah, they're supposed to be cleared and ready to play. James donates $5 Rooskies. My man James, he says full PPR. J.D. McKissick or Lynn Bowden? Higbee, Irv, or Gesicki at tight end? So it looks like Gesicki's going to be doubtful. So this is a pretty loaded question for your specific situation. If Mike Gesicki is out, I like Bowden over McKissick, right? If Gesicki is in, I will be going to McKissick there. Between Irv, Higbee, and Gesicki, I have Gesicki projected out right now. If he somehow plays, it would be him. And then again, you wouldn't go to Bowden. But if we were to go between Higbee and Irv Smith today, I have Higbee at 7.8 fantasy points. I have Irv Smith at 8.2. So let's go Irv Smith over Higbee. Thank you for the super chat. Good question. Running back chart, please? Yeah, let's look at the running backs. There we go. Sal, if you had to choose a cash game, would you stack Lamar with Hollywood or Andrews? If you had to choose in a cash game, I would not be stacking in cash. If you somehow land on a stack just by pure coincidence, that's fine, but I'm not looking to stack in cash. Yeah, that's just my personal take. Somebody says masks at the gym is a joke. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole masks at the gym. Yes, they're inconvenient and they're awkward, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Deontay Johnson, I answer that. No Brees stacks? Not for me, no. No. Is Drew Brees starting the whole game or is he splitting the position with Taysom Hill? By all accounts, he's starting and playing the whole game, by all accounts, from what I can see. I don't know if you answered this, but Mark Andrews and Akers or Kelsey and Bourne already have Tyreek and Mahomes. I don't want to play Kendrick Bourne, so I would be going with Mark Andrews and Akers. Somebody says Jock Market is so slow. What are you talking about so slow? Jock Market, do you have like the newest app updated? Jock Market might be one of the best app experiences I've ever used. So I don't know if you're playing on an older version app or an older phone, and that's why, because your phone doesn't update it as much, but it is by far like the quickest up-to-date thing. Like, it updates basically every second, the price points, and I've never had an issue with it. You might be on an old version or just an old phone in general that might not be able to handle it. But no, Jock Market is, I haven't had an issue with that's the first thing I told them on the phone when we were discussing partnerships was like user experience, like for myself, and obviously if I'm going to be promoting it, is like a big thing for me. So like seeing the second that, like they're definitely modeling it after Robinhood. If they're not, it looks very similar, obviously similar colorways, very similar layout to Robinhood in it. Robinhood is a stock market. It's an exchange app. So yeah. James donates $2. He says, Hurts or Cousins? I'll go with Hurts there, my man. Thank you for the other super chat. Appreciate that. What wide receivers are you starting over Allen Robinson? So, I mean, it's so lineup specific, right? My exposures are going to be, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys higher owned than Allen Robinson. But it's lineup specific, right? I'm not starting Allen Robinson probably in my Chief stacks because I'm going to stack up an expensive Chief, running back maybe with Kamara. It's tough to get him in there, right? That type of stuff. It's lineup specific. There's a lot of guys I'm starting over him depending on the lineup. Where do I put your promo code on Jock Market? I am on the deposit page. Yeah, good question. Does it not say promo code anywhere? Let me look. I assume you're on the app because they don't have their desktop version out yet. Let me just look quickly. So you can go into, here, I think this is where you put it. Yeah, so I'm literally on my phone right now. So once you're in the app, you can go over to the section that says, you just like go over to the settings on the top, you like your little head, and it'll say referrals. And once you're in referrals, let me see if this comes up on the screen for all of you. I don't think that it might not. Once you're in referral, it says, wow, wow, that's crazy, yo. I got a green screen behind me, so it takes out the green buttons. So it's taking out everything that's on this. So I don't think you can see this right now. Wow, that's crazy. So once you're on the referrals page, it'll say have a bonus code. There's another way to do it, but this is the easiest way that I found. So it'll just say, do you have a bonus code question mark, and you can put in Sal 10. There should be an option when you're depositing, but I'm not depositing right now, so I'm not doing that. But I know that that's one spot to put it. Hopefully that helps, man. Lynn Bowden all day. Yeah, I hope so. I hope Gesicki's out. Thoughts on Chad Hansen? With Cook's back, not going to be as interested. Chad Hansen had the big game 2 weeks ago against the Colts when nobody could prep for him and when Cooks got hurt for half the game, right? So Hansen looks decent. Probably sees 5 or 6 targets. Probably needs a touchdown. Why am I getting 80% Drake? Yeah, I don't know, man. My man Anthony says, why am I getting... I don't know. I have no idea. I have 0%, so I don't know what your settings are. I don't know what your projection is for him, your randomness. I don't know how you could get 80% Drake today. Unless you haven't projected for a lot of points. Season long says Dante Bryan. What's on Dante? He says season long pick 2: Godwin, Corey Davis, or Gesicki and James Conner. Great content, Sal. Appreciate you, my man. I'm going to be going with Godwin and Corey Davis. Good question. Drake or Swift? I'll be going with Swift there. Cole Kmet or Atkins? I'm looking for somebody under 30,000. I'll go with Jordan Akins. They're both fine. Akins dropped a touchdown last week, so it'll keep people sour on him. Kmet's been fine. 7 targets in back-to-back games with Mr. Mitchell Trubisky. I'm actually getting more Akins a lot because of my stacks of that game with Houston. Let me see who I have projected out more so I can give you a better answer there. Cole Kmet I have at 6.3 points, and Akins I have projected at 7.8. So yeah, Akins. We'll stay with Akins there. $5 super chat from Avery Holmes says, need to start 2 full PPR in the flex. Bourne, Elliott, Chad Hansen, or Salvin Ahmed. So I assume Elliott is Zeke, right? I don't know who else that would be. So I'll go with Zeke Elliott there. And then let me look at my Ahmed versus Chad Hansen. I'm going to be choosing one of those over Bourne, I assume. So let me just look at my Ahmed. I have Ahmed for 7.8 points. And I have Hansen for 9.9. So I'm going to be going with Hansen there. I'll check Bourne just to make sure. 8 point. Yeah, so I'll go with Hansen there based on projection. Lynn Bowden or Devonte Parker? Parker if he's active. Emmanuel Sanders today. Emmanuel Sanders is my highest owned wide receiver. Don't love it, but he's my highest owned wide receiver today. Yep. Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Marvin Jones in redraft? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Wide receiver page, question mark? Yeah. I got Brandon Cooks and Scary Terry starting, or should I put AB, Brown, Higgins, or T. Smith? No, keep Brandon Cooks and Scary Terry if it's season long. Either way, actually. McLaurin, question mark? Yeah, I got McLaurin. I have 21% McLaurin. He's one of my higher owned wide receivers. Kiki Kute or Jeff Wilson? Kiki for sure for me. Not even close there. Thoughts on Ahmed for season long? I'm in the playoffs. Don't have a lot of options. I have Jacoby Myers and Gage that I could play over him. I would be playing Gage over Ahmed or Jacoby. Yeah, I'd be playing Gage over them personally. Best wide receiver for Jacksonville. I have Chenault as my highest owned, but don't like any of them, to be honest. But yeah. Do you like Scary Terry for the Pats today. Scary Harry. I like that. N'Keal Harry? No, I don't have any. How do you feel about Phillip Rivers this week? No interest. I have Phillip Rivers projecting out pretty terribly, I believe. Phillip Rivers I have for 18.2 fantasy points, which is, it puts him as my, if we're talking about point per dollar values, Phillip Rivers is like my 19 minus, he's like my 14th overall quarterback, which is not good. I just downloaded Jock Market last week. It takes forever to load, and I have a brand new phone. Are you on Android by any chance? You might need to update it. I mean, I'm on Apple and everything's fine. Everything is fine on my end. If you're on Android, that could be why, because they just got in the Android store like 2 weeks ago, so they might be fixing bugs. You can check for an update. But everything on Apple has been fine. Is Jordan Akins fine in cash? Look, man, I don't play cash, so I can't give you like the most truthful answer because like if I was playing cash, I would know like for a fact if I would be playing him or not today. Is he fine in cash? Yeah, he's my top overall tight end value play. So I mean, like that probably gets you into a cash lineup. So yeah, he's my top overall value play at tight end, and probably put you in the pool to make him fine. Isn't Ayuk just a smash as an extra receiver in your lineup today? I'm not interested in that game much at all, but Ayuk could get catches and rushing, right? Yeah, he can get both. Yeah, Ayuk's fine. I have 5%. I would have more if I had interest in that game, but I can't stack him up, so I can't really get too much more Ayuk, especially when there's other guys in his range that pop off a little bit more for me, right? Kiki Kute is cheaper, looks better value-wise. Brandon Cooks is cheaper, looks better value-wise. Terry McLaurin's in the price range, looks better. Allen Robinson a little bit more expensive, and Calvin Ridley. Those guys I'm getting ownership towards. Hopkins I'm getting more of, right? Tyreek Hill I'm getting more of. Michael Pittman's cheaper. So it's just tough to get because he's in this range where he's approaching appropriately priced. I still think that you can find value at that price point for him, especially as the main option against Dallas. He's a good play. Brandon Ayuk is a strong play. I only get 5% though. I would like to get more, but I'm getting a lot more of these other guys that I feel okay about. Tyreek, Hopkins, or Ridley, pick two. I'll be going with Tyreek and Ridley there. I found it. Thanks. No problem, Will. I just tried the update. Maybe that will work. Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely try. Anytime you have an app that is not updated, it will definitely pick up bugs and work a lot slower. Like bigger apps like Facebook and stuff like that, you can get away with not doing their updates because their updates normally aren't as dramatic or devastating, right? Like their updates don't change a shit ton of stuff in the software, which will slow it down. But when you have Jock Market, that when they're making changes right now, since they're a newer company, I think like a year old, not even, when they're making changes, like they're pushing an update for a reason. Like there's a reason they're going to be very particular about their updates because there's a lot that goes into pushing an update just from scheduling shit out and actually doing stuff. So it's going to change a lot. And if it changes a lot, the older versions of that will be a little bit buggy. Sony Michel, start or not? Not for me. Not for me. T.Y. Hilton to move today? Not for me. I have like 3%. My man Proudy. It says Canadian dollar Ruskies. I like that. Avi. Don't even say dollar. He says Russell Gage or Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette. Crap, didn't send it with the message. No problem, man. I see you. I like that Avi. That's a good Avi, my man. What do you do? I feel like anybody who has like an avatar like that does something, whether you do graphics or you're just like a business owner or a personality. But I'll go with I'll go with Leonard Fournette there. Keep up the good work, sir. Shannon says to keep up the good work, sir. Donates $5 Ruskies to the chat. Too kind right now. We're getting a lot of dollar Ruskies in here right now. Holy shit, we got so many super chats. You guys are just fucking great today. Holy shit. That kid Nick donates $2. He says Raheem Wilson or Connor. Opponent has Jalen Waller and Henry. Raheem, Jeff Wilson, or Connor today. I go with Raheem. Going down a little bit more, Chicago Monster donates $5. If your question's not getting answered, it's because so many motherfucking people are super chatting, so I'm trying to answer those because they super chat for a reason. So you want to make sure it gets answered. You can leave a super chat. Otherwise, I'll try and get to them once I get the super chats out of the way. Over $120 Ruski super chatted today. Thank you. You guys are too kind. Tough spot for me. Don't know who to flex. Please help me. New. He's new here, so what's going on? Hit that like. Hit that subscribe as well if you're brand new and you're here right now watching this and you're not already. You don't usually subscribe to people. Well, take that extra couple of seconds of your time. It really helps this channel. Allows me to continue to do this just by hitting one button. Takes nothing off of your back. Costs no money at all. Really does nothing bad for you. And it just helps this channel. So why not be a good person? Hitting that subscribe today helps a lot. Please help. Marvin Jones, Kareem Hunt, McKissick, or Juju Smith. I would take Juju Smith out of all of those guys. Also at QB, Baker, Cousins, or Cam. I'd be going with Juju, and I would be going with Juju and Baker. Anthony says, are you getting any Dobbins? Donates $5 Ruskies. My man Anthony been donating a lot right now. Mod in the chat been donated. I'm getting Dobbins in 0% of my lineups. I have him for 12.8 fantasy points. Swift or Akers? Akers for me. Thoughts on Dracon Smith? I have a lot of Dracon Smith right now. I currently have Dracon Smith in 26% of my lineups at 3,200. Heading out, fellas. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day as well, my man. We got football in an hour and 40 minutes. I always get very giddy around this time because we got motherfucking football. Also, thank you for the people who signed up to Patreon during this stream, because now we no longer have 666 patrons, which would have been a very scary time for me. We have 668. So why not get that thing to 700? Join Patreon down below today. NBA starts on Tuesday. By far, lowest prices for the best content you can find behind a paywall in the industry, because it's tools, it's projections, it's stuff that actually improve your game, rankings, game-by-game notes, a lot of stuff like that. And I'm a one-man band. It's just me. I'm the only person of Vetri Media, LLC. I'm the co-founder and the only employee. I'm the only person. So I ain't got to pay salaries. I ain't got to pay payroll. I don't have that many overhead expenses. I don't have debt to anybody. Not a single person. No bank has debt to me. So I can charge cheap prices because, hey, it's just me. I don't need $1 million to survive in my life. I need enough to get by and do some fun stuff here and there. So, yeah, instead of paying there's some companies, some big companies that launched, and I was like, oh, this is cool. There's some cool guys at this company. This is cool. $380 a month. What? I mean, I guess if you're like a millionaire and you do this for a living and you want to be buying the tools, but holy shit. What person in here in the chat right now would pay $380 a month for a very prominent company in this space that charges that monthly for their tools? I was like, the fuck? Find all that shit everywhere else for a fraction of the price. I was like, the fuck they doing? Shannon says, keep up the good work. $5 super chat. Too kind, Shannon. He says he's a music man. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah, Proudy, Music Man. Check out his stuff. I don't know if he's got stuff on his YouTube, but check it out. Pretty cool. Your logo does exactly what it should do. It caught my eye, right? It's a little cartoon of you. If somebody in here does graphics and can take my logo that is on like my Twitter and all my stuff, I plan to keep it my logo, but like this right here, right? So also, if you're not following me on Twitter, get up over there. But this logo right here that's on my Twitter, let me make sure. Yeah, this one right here. If somebody can take that and make it like a cartoon version of me, like kind of how Proudy has it in here, let me know. Let me know if you can do that. Because like, I kind of want to see what like this exact logo, just make it like a cartoon. I want to see what that looks like. I would like to see what that looks like. We're having a good stream today, yo. We're having a good stream. We're having a strong stream. Over 1,000 people in this stream right now on a week 15 slate when everybody else in the industry is going live. That's what a motherfucking community is. You guys are rock solid. Appreciate you all the time. Mitch or Baker for season long? Oof, man. Mitch, but hold your nose. It's today a pay up for wide receiver kind of slate? Both. You have dirt cheap options and potentially Lynn Bowden. Honestly, it's all over the place for wide receiver. I've got a lot of guys in the 15 to 20% range that I'm paying up for, but Emmanuel Sanders, Kiki Kute, Russell Gage, Dracon Smith, Lynn Bowden, all these guys are cheap that I want to get to. So it's both. It's both. Sammy Watkins, sneaky pick. I got 13%. I like it a lot. Can we see the tight end page? You sure can. Rappaport just reported no Parker, no Gesicki, or Grant. Well, let me look at my Twitter to verify. I do believe you, but I just want to verify. If there's no Parker and no Gesicki today, Lynn Bowden is going to be in a lot of my lineups. I already have him projected for like 10 points. I'm going to be starting to project him for like 14 points, and he's going to be in a lot of my lineups. Not good for the Dolphins. Source said they won't have Gesicki, Parker, or Grant today. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Dracon Smith pivot. Lynn Bowden Jr. season. Oh, boy. This is about to get real, real good. Lynn Bowden Jr. is a quarterback, running back, not wide receiver. And he's been good. So, yeah, Lynn Bowden, I already had 19% of in my latest crunch. And that's with him at 10 fantasy points. Holy shit, we're about to get a lot of fantasy points out of Lynn Bowden Jr. today. Or at least projected. Fingers crossed that we get him. Yeah, Lynn Bowden is going to be tough to get. I'm going to update the projections. We usually end the stream right around now. I'll answer some more questions that come in. But just know that Lynn Bowden is going to be a pretty solid play now. Don't know how much I'll get him, but I'm going to be getting him. What's up, Sal? Do you like Disley this week? I do not, my man. Are you locked in at Kelsey or Andrews today? I have 23% of both. I would prefer Kelsey if you can afford it. Sal, Mims or Bowden? Bowden. Sal, can you help me with mine? Chicago Monster says, help you with your what, my man? Help you with your what? Chicago. Yeah, I answered your super chat. You probably saw it a little bit later. What do we got here? Yo, Sal, thanks for all the feedback. Happy holidays. Same to you, man. Same to you. No Gesicki, Devonte, and all those guys. Yeah. It's Lynn Bowden season. It is going to be Lynn Bowden season very, very nicely today. Lynn Bowden's going to project for like 14 fantasy points for me. He was at like 13 points something earlier. So I'm going to update the Lynn Bowden stuff and the Miami stuff right after we go off this. I'll update the ownership projections as well for all that stuff. But Lynn Bowden, who was already one of my top, let's see right now. I'll update this right now. Let me push an update through. Just so for the good people on YouTube can kind of understand what's happening today. We're going to just rule all these guys out now for Miami. Adjust some of these rates here from target share stuff. And snaps. Oh, yeah. Lynn Bowden's the number one wide receiver value at 13.7 points. It also starts to create some interest in some of these other guys. Not going to get to Matt Collins, but some of these other tight ends, like Durham Spite, starts to pop up as a very nice option. So, yeah. This is where we want to go today. So interesting. You the man, Sal. No, you the man. Any love for Michelle as a sleeper? No interest. Go Bruins. Yeah, Bruins fan. Go Bruins. Did mine on Fiverr. Was really happy with how it turned out. Believe it cost me $7. Yeah, I actually did a cartoon one for a podcast album for $7. I have a graphics guy. I can ask him to, I guess. Watson ownership. My Watson ownership is 16%. That might change now, though, with Lynn Bowden stuff, because I'm going to have to rerun all my crunches. But, yeah. If you want to make sure you get updated on all my ownership stuff, be sure to check out my Patreon, link down below. All 700 of you that are patrons or so. Yeah, you could be able to get the updates for all this Lynn Bowden news and any other news that comes out when the inactives report for the 1 o'clock games in about 20 minutes. But yeah, we're gonna have some big news right now, big differences in these projections. The second that Lynn Bowden becomes the best wide receiver play value wise on the slate. So pretty interesting stuff. Let me get to the rest of these. Smash that like button. Definitely. Don't they have a cartoon filter in Snapchat? Oh, interesting. I'll try and look into that. I don't use Snapchat too often. Cool. If there's no other super chats, I think I'm about to go. We have Kyle O'Neill donates $5 for stream. He says Swift or J-Rob, full PPR. Give me J-Rob. And then we get the Bruins, Boston Brawler. I'm a Bruins fan, man. He says, yo, flex, Pittman, Shark, Gallman, or David Johnson. Give me Pittman there. Good question. Alrighty, gang. I think we're going to bounce. If there's no other super chats, we shall bounce today. I appreciate all the people who super chat. We got $125 Rooskies in super chats today. You all rock. You think Adam Shaheen will do well today with Gesicki? I think he'll look pretty decent. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Be sure to support Jock Market, proud sponsors of this show. They're great people. They have a great product. I'm telling you, this is the next step in DFS and sports betting, right, is going to be stock exchanges for daily fantasy sports. Jock Market has hit the ground running with their product, right? I'm not reading an ad read. I'm literally saying this based on my experience with them. So check out Jock Market. My name's Sal10, SAL10, and their little promotion code. You can go to the Refer a Friend box on their app, download it today for free, playing some of the free contests where you can win money, or the, paid contests where you can actually own some stock of players. Best of luck, everybody, today. I appreciate you all a ton. Have a great rest of your day. I'll answer some of the questions in the Discord after this. I'll answer all of them. I appreciate that. Elliott is out. Rappaport just tweeted it. Ezekiel Elliott is out. Well, if that's true, Tony Pollard's season starts to approach us as well. Ezekiel Elliott, he's inactive, a big surprise. All right, everybody, shit is breaking right now. The news is breaking. No better time to be a patron than right now, because I have to get off of this to update projections, ownership rankings based on all of this crazy news. Ezekiel Elliott being out is yes, going to do a lot of things for Mr. Tony Pollard, and it is now. I'm getting very excited because he's only $5,200. It is now going to make Tony Pollard probably a yes for me. I have to do the projections. But him at $5,200 allows a lot more to now open up. For getting to these expensive stacks. What a day. No Parker, no Zeke, and the inactives have not even officially come out yet. We have to hold our expectations on Mr. Ian Rappaport. His sources have been pretty leaky lately. But if this is the case, oh baby. Kelsey or Ridley, I've Ridley projected for more. I'm not reading a promo. Drops his promo code. Yeah, I'm not reading no promo. There's nothing in front of me. The screen that you're seeing on your screen is the thing that's in front of me. I don't read any promos. My bookie is the only promo that they've ever sent me because I normally don't like reading promos because it's just not natural. As he drops his promo code, yeah. You can drop a promo code, SAL110, SAL10, Mr. Alex Gagnon. Gagnon something. Alrighty, everybody. Peace out, homies. Peace out. Is Pollard a good start DFS-wise with Zeke out? Tune into Patreon where I'm going to update the projections. The actual answer is yes, probably. Can your brother do the cartoon, says my mama. Yeah, he might be able to. I'm not sure. If he wants to, he can. I can reach out to Steven. Peace out. What a perfect time to be going off the stream when the Zeke news drops and all that. Smack us with the information, somebody says. Yeah, I'm going to update the projections on Patreon. We can update for the Zeke news. If you guys want the other news, is Pollard a good start DFS-wise with Zeke out? Yeah. The short answer to that is going to be yes. He's probably a better player than Zeke is right now, and I love Zeke. But in terms of for DFS with the pass-catching upside and his after-the-catch ability, Pollard right now for me, Pollard is going to start to look like potentially the best running back play in the slate. And that's for me saying that Alvin Kamara is the best running back play in the slate. Pollard for me is going to project out. I've done this before earlier this year when Zeke was out. Pollard is going to project for over 16 fantasy points. He might touch 17 and a half fantasy points. I have to run the projections, but I've done this earlier this year when we had a report on Zeke. So Pollard looks great now. Lynn Bowden looks great now. We have all the value in the world to play these Patrick Mahomes Chiefs stacks. Don't fuck it up, people. Thank you, everybody. We'll close it on that. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all in the Discord, the Patrons. I'm going to go update this stuff right now. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.